Before studying for the seminary, I graduated as a civil engineer in RPI, Troy, New York. I also dabbled in dramatics. I was the voice for actors in Hollywood. I was the voice for Peter Lorre, among others, in Spanish. Eventually, as a result of a retreat, I went to the seminary. I studied for the priesthood, became a priest in 1954, and then was chosen to be a bishop by Pope Paul VI in 1971. I would like now to mention some of my acquaintances with Father Aloysius. I knew him and admired him as a very spiritual man, so he was my spiritual director for several years. When I was ordained a bishop, I asked him to be my chaplain. A bishop to be always has two priests with him as chaplains on the day of the ordination, right there on the altar at the sanctuary. And so I asked him to be my chaplain. And he was always very grateful for this and always said he was praying for me and was very gracious. I sent several people to him when I realized he had the power of healing. I sent several people to him to be cured. Excuse me. I noticed that when he felt he had no power to cure the person, he would just say, well, I'll pray for you. But whenever he would say either you don't have to go to your appointment with the doctor, you'll be all right, then I knew that the person was taken care of. One such case was that of a lady from Ecuador also who called me to say that she had made an appointment at St. Vincent's Hospital to have her cancerous tumor removed. And this was on a Friday, I believe, and she said the appointment was for Monday. I told her about Father Aloysius and said, if you want to, why don't you go see Father Aloysius, see what he has to say. Well, he blessed her and told her that she did not need the operation, but if she felt better having it, she could, but that she could cancel the operation. So she did, with all faith in him and in God, and the tumor never developed, and she never had cancer again. She's always been very grateful to Father Aloysius and has done many merciful works in his name in Ecuador. Another person who is important is because sometimes the power of suggestion might be in question. So this was a young kid, about 6 years old, who had bleeding nose. If you just touched his nose or he was out in the sun too much, he started to bleed. And his mother was taking him to UCLA. And I also recommended he see Father Aloysius. His mother took him, and Father Aloysius blessed him and told him he would be all right, that he didn't need the medicine anymore, but if he wanted to, he could take it. He always said, you know, you're free to take it if you want to, but you don't need it. And so the mother told me that that night, when Father Aloysius blessed him, was the first night the kid had been able to sleep for 8 hours. And when he took him to UCLA, they said, gee, the medicine must be working marvelous because he's so much better. Another case that I remember is of the wife of a doctor. Being a doctor, he had taken his wife to all kinds of Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic, wherever he could. And no one had been able to take care of her, cure her. But when Father Aloysius blessed her, she became cured, and the doctor, of course, was amazed. These are the three most prominent cases that I can remember.